Hello and welcome to Marvel Mondays here at Mapping Key Gaming. My name is Manuel and today we are doing a Spotlight Marvel United on the villainous Red Skull. Now, Marvel United is a 1 to 5 player game that plays approximately 40 minutes and is for ages 14 and up, and you're using different heroes from the Marvel Universe to do battle against the villain. Now, the Spotlight series is designed for us to get better acquainted with the different characters of the Marvel Universe, and in this particular case, Red Skull here being the villain, he has his own unique setup and systems and ways of working. So here we have the Red Skull. Before we start looking at everything that he entails, let's take a look at his bio and figure. Now, the Red Skull here comes in the core set for Marvel United. He's a good start villain for you to kind of figure out the way how different mechanics work, how to set up the board. And like all villains in Marvel United, he is scalable to make him more difficult by using different challenges that will make the simplest of villains more difficult. Now with that, let's take a look at his threat cards. So these are the Red Skull's threat cards that are going to be placed at the different locations. He has 3 of them that are going to be villain characters, and then he's going to have 3 of them that are just going to require the heroic action. But as you can see, each one has a little something special for the heroes when they land on them. Bob, right here, heroes starting their turn in this location take 1 crisis token. Not that big of a deal. He is only 4 health. So you can hit him 4 times and then he goes away and then uncovers the location. This is okay, as long as you don't get too many of them. Next we have Crossbones, who has 6 health, so he has a BAM effect. So whenever Red Skull triggers a BAM, he's going to deal 2 damage to each hero in this location. Any hero can prevent this effect by taking 2 crisis tokens. For you to start in this location with Bob, it's not that big of a deal. Taking 2 damage isn't a big deal in the beginning of the game, but towards the end of the game, or if you have some good cards in your hand, you're looking at maybe taking the 2 crisis tokens to prevent the damage. And then here, the final character is going to be Madam Hydra, and she has 5 health, and she has a BAM as well, and that's deal 1 damage to each hero in this location. Any hero can prevent this effect by taking 1 crisis token. So the same thing as Crossbones here, just a little bit weaker. Now these threats right here just go right on the location and require 3 heroic actions to get rid of them. So not that big of a deal, as long as you can get to the location and take care of it. The first one here, Hydra Elite Troopers, reads, each thug in this location requires 2 damage to be defeated. So you're going to have to do double the damage to each thug as long as this Hydra Elite Troopers is active. Once you go and take care of this with the heroic actions, this will come off the board and you just continue as normal. The next one here is Brainwashing. Heroes in this and adjacent locations take 1 crisis token each. It's this idea of getting crisis tokens from the other villains. It's kind of pushed a little bit here. I don't think it's that damaging because the Red Skull would have to move to this location to make that happen. And then finally here we have Subversion. Discard all thug and civilians from this location and advance the fear track by the number of tokens discarded this way. Now, this has to do specifically with his villain dashboard, which we'll take a look at now, and we'll see exactly how this fear track comes into play and how this card can actually be devastating if you leave it. Okay, so here is the Red Skull's dashboard, and as you can see here, he has 4 health on a 2-player game, 8 health on a 3-player game, and then 11 health on a 4-player game. And then he has right here his BAM, which reads, deal 1 damage to each hero in Red Skull's location and increase the fear track by 2. And then this is the fear track right down here. It reads, villainous plot, fear track. When this track reaches 20, heroes lose. So we all got this nice little Tesseract cube that came with the core set, that came with Red Skull. And then it's going to start at 0. And then as he BAMs, this is going to move up 2 as that location. When he moves to it and he gets rid of the different civilians and thugs, this is going to go up. And also right here, overflow. If a civilian or thug token can't be added to a location, increase the fear track by 1 for each token you could not add. So if for whatever reason You know, there is a couple of them that have, you know, 3 spots, 4 spots, and you're not taking care of the thugs or the civilians. This can actually move rather quickly. But because of the way how he is set up, he's actually not that difficult if you work on him as a team. He's not doing anything super damaging with his different locations. You know, the worst that you're doing is you're getting some crisis tokens. Now that we've gone over his dashboard, let's take a look at his cards. Okay, now here are the cards for the Red Skull. Starting with just a straight up bam. He's not going to move. He's going to do the 1 damage to each hero in Red Skull's location and increase the fear tracker. He's also going to activate the BAMs on all of the locations with the other villains. So we're talking about the locations with Crossbones and Madam Hydra for you to be taking the crisis tokens. And his next card is going to be move 1 and then BAM. And then at his location, he's going to put the 2 civilians and then 1 civilian on each location adjacent. In addition to, if he moves to the subversion location, he's going to discard all the thugs and civilians in that location to move the fear tracker. This is what makes him difficult here, because he's going to be adding to the location, and we can turn his next card and it's the exact same thing except he's doing thugs, but there's no BAM. By him moving to the location with subversion, he still performs that act. That's not going to change. He's just not going to be doing that extra damage. And then here we go. Here's another move 2, and then BAM, and then add 2 civilians. And then here's a move 2, BAM, and then add the 2 thugs to the location and then 1 in the adjacent. And then here's the 3. And then a 4. And then his big card is this right here. He's going to move 5, but here, when he hits the location, he's going to add 2 thugs and then 2 civilians. So this is absolutely dangerous. This will cause overflow. Unless you have the location completely wiped out, this right here, this is an overflow for him. You're going to have to stay on top of him to make sure that you'll be able to handle this when it comes up. And then we come to Hydra Insurgency. And he's going to have 2 of them. He's not going to move. He's going to BAM. And then for each crisis token the heroes have, advance the fear track by 1. You were taking, you know, a little bit of crisis from Bob. You were taking a little bit of crisis from Madam Hydra and Crossbones and one of the other locations. This is where this is going to hurt. And he has 2 of them. He's just going to straight go and he's going to hit you. He's going to damage you. And the other characters are going to BAM as well if you haven't taken them out. And then he's going to move the fear tracker. And then his final card here is going to be Hail Hydra, and he has 2 of those as well. Hail Hydra. Discard all civilians from locations with heroes and deal 1 damage to each of those heroes. Advance the fear track by the number of civilians discarded this way. This puts a lot of pressure on you if you're playing characters that are all punch, because you don't have the ability to do all the heroics to clear the civilian. So this is why you kind of have to have a little bit of a balanced team. You don't have to be perfect. You know, he's designed to be as a kind of a simple, just get your toes wet kind of a guy. You know, like I said, he has 3 of his threat cards are villains, so you can defeat them. You can do a little bit of damage, and that will make it easier for you. But you do have to have heroes with the heroics to be able to help handle all of these civilians that are out there. So that is everything to do with the Red Skull from the core set of Marvel United. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments below, and give me a like and subscribe, as I'm a small channel and I can use as many subscribers as I can get, and I will be going through each and every single character for Marvel United and Marvel United X-Men that have come out. So like I said, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and until next time, Hail Hydra.